Hello and welcome to another episode of A Coffee with Chris, the social media show that helps you create impact. As always, brought to you in association with our charity partners, Big C, who help local people affected by cancer, and Blue Bear Coffee. They replace your business's coffee to help children that have experienced human trafficking. Today, as always, I've been sipping on their most recent blend, which is the Walter Danziger blend from Brazil. If you want to try a bag, head down to their shop on Toonland, or why not order online. Of course, this show is also proudly sponsored by Oliver Hill of Hill Coaching Company, Limitless Film and Media, Mindset HR, and Wingfield Consultants. Let's get into today's conversation with a pretty cool pro in the world of video. He is a commercial video producer, certified drone operator, that sounds very impressive, and founder of Divine.Media, Sean Carr. Divine.Media, for those of you that don't know, are a video production company that collaborates closely with businesses to transform their ideas into high quality, visually engaging content. Sean, welcome to a Coffee with Chris. Let's kick off the why. This one is all about video for luxury brands. Why do luxury brands need to really commit to video? Because I can feel a bit of skepticism. They're okay with photography, but why do they need to go deep diving into video?
Yeah, so Chris, it's a question that comes up quite a lot, to be fair. And it's always one of those big questions of asking, excuse me, if it's going to be something that's going to be great on their ROI. And mainly what it comes down to is with video, you've got the power to be able to convey a brand's rich heritage very, very quickly. And it also helps them enable them to provide their customers with an insight of what it's like to experience with their brand and what they can accurately expect from them as well. And the other thing that they always get a bit concerned about is like, am I going to lose that boutique feel to my brand? And the answer is no, you're not going to lose that at all, because you're going to be taking that customer on a journey with you and keeping them having that like a boutique feel and feel like they're just like the one and only, which is highly valued by luxury clients.
Love that. So Sean, let's kind of take people on the journey with us. A luxury brand comes your way, or any brand comes your way, but specifically a luxury brand. They come your way, and we love on Coffee with Chris to talk about the starting steps. What are the things that you would advise someone in that world does to slowly but surely, and most importantly, effectively creep into the world of your quality of video content?
Yeah, so if you're asking more about my process, it starts off by asking a few questions about the business and their goals, the ambitions for the brand and how they would like to be perceived. And most importantly, the demographics they want to connect with. So then we take all those questions and those answers, and then we've asked them, okay, so what have you tried so far? And more often than not, then they haven't tried video, or they have tried video before and it hasn't quite achieved their goals. And then we do some exploring into that. So we get a sense check on like how they feel video is going to help them achieve their business goals and their ambitions for the brand. And then from there, then we look at, we do some research on the brands, look at their online presence, and start creating some real headline concepts as well, and show how it's going to be able to align with those goals and ambitions by setting those KPIs.
Amazing. Good. That's how people should do it. I think a lot of people just kind of just turn on the camera and get going, right? And it's important that you have those things in place before. Massive advocate of that, regardless of whether it's video or social. Sean, I just want to throw a geeky question at you, which is around what I would call practical video and cinematic video. There's this world now that we're in where, of course, we've all got mobile phones to film that kind of raw, unpolished stuff. I'm sure you get this question all the time. What I see you guys being so good at is this kind of sexy, cinematic, real kind of high-end video content. So what's the kind of line, the scales? What's your kind of take on that subject?
It's always going to be a bit of a balancing act as well, between, balancing with the expectation with the experience. And you always want to be able to provide that authenticity, because like ultimately you want people to trust what you do. So lavishing them with like, oh yeah, you can have this, 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 and this, and then when they actually experience it, then obviously you're going to have a disappointed customer. That's just basic business sense. But I always kind of like draw the line thinking, okay, how is this going to add value to the brand? How is this going to feed back to the narrative that we're trying to tell? How is this going to, re-accentuate something for the brand and really show off that experience? And if we find that we're just doing too much, just being like, and not asking the question, and then we're just doing it for the sake of it, then it's just like, well, there's no point. Let's just bin that off. And so ultimately, we're always asking that question, okay, how is this providing value to the brand? How is this actually telling the story? Is this going to be able to convey their message in that 15, 30-second piece or even longer, that sort of thing?
Really interesting, really interesting. And speaking of conveying messages, Sean, you're not just behind the camera. You are up in the air with a camera now in terms of a drone. I feel like everyone is kind of just throwing drone this, drone that. It's, in my world, is AI this, AI that. I feel like you'll probably hear about drones all the time in your world, but I really want you to kind of explain, if you don't mind, Sean, like, why should a luxury brand really capitalize on drone footage rather than just ground level normal stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one because you don't want to overuse it, and there can always be that danger of like using something for the sake of it. And I mainly use it to be able to get those high-end angles, which would just be technically impossible to do any other way. And it's all about like showing like things like perspective, showing like the scale of things. And like, for example, if I was going to do some work with a yacht company, for example, there's no way I'll be able to do that just from a small little boat on the other side and trying to get like steady footage. But being able to like show like locations is so much better doing it with a drone. And that also takes particular planning as well. It's one thing just having like an amateur just like throw a drone up in the air at like midday and like getting some nice shots, but it's all about like planning in terms of like the elements that aren't at your mercy, really. So you have to think about the timing that you can be able to do it. So doing it at a golden hour to make sure you get those perfect like lit shots, those are the most that's where you have like professional drone operators that come in and make all those plans, look at the shadow, seeing what the sky's doing, are we getting good cloud coverage so we're having diffused light, lots of things like that come into play.
That's so interesting. So interesting. I'm a massive advocate. Where I'm really loving drone video content at the moment, Sean, is I'm pitting it to the top of our clients' social pages, particularly if they are a location-based business. And for example, a classic pain point is, oh, I wonder if there's parking there. And they're clicking through Google Maps and, oh, I'm not sure, or I can't go down that gravel track and da-da-da. So I just love what a drone can do in terms of the video content there, Sean. So yeah, no, massive advocate of that. So kudos to you. Of course, we're in the world of social. You know that. Fascinating to get your take also on filming your kind of sexy cinematic. I'm calling you a sexy cinematic videographer now. That content, are you planning that with social in mind, or do you do that? And how does that work?
Yeah, it's a lot more of a focus now. And so that also comes down to what platforms the client is using. So way back in the first meeting, we actually talk about the platforms they're using. And so if something like TikTok or Instagram or anything like relating to vertical video comes up, then that's when we start making those plans, even from the storyboard. So when we've got that in mind, then we have to think about how we're going to be planning our shots. We need to shoot a lot wider so we can actually capture not only landscape, but also edit for vertical as well. There's also other considerations that we need to take into account, like attention spans being a lot shorter. So therefore being able to get, 15 to 30 seconds, and sometimes even like long form video probably running work. So UGC might even be better for some campaigns. Yeah,
so with you. The classic mistake I see on social certainly is brands that have, it's such a shame as well, I'm sure it bugs you as well, Sean. They invest in video, they get the video done, and they've done it landscape first rather than vertical, which is okay. So it's all right. But I would just love it if brands could get some bespoke vertical video content that's designed for social, because you increase dwell time, your video content will stay on the feed for longer, it's more engaging, it captures attention, blah, blah, blah. You know this. Just the audience, the business world out there, are seemingly still not making the most of their video investment. And I'm sure that's something that you would agree with. Sean, I want to talk to you now about a success story. And hey, I'm just going to be super transparent about this with everyone watching live, watching back, listening back. We have a shared client, don't we? And I'm fascinated to hear about that shared client from you, Sean, and what you did for them, the impact of that video, and how it worked, and what you managed to achieve.
Yeah, so we've done some work with 𝗖𝗵𝗄𝗵𝗲, haven't we? And it was radically changing and transforming their online presence, not only just with their social media, where it was predominantly stills, but also with their web presence as well, which features massive video banners as soon as you go onto each page, trying to attract that attention straight from the outset. And like I said, initially they had like still images, but it now takes their customers and their clientele on an experience that they've never had before, even before making contact with them. And what we've done with 𝗖𝗵𝗄𝗃 is, completely changed the way that they present themselves online.
Yeah, I am just such a fan of it. It's the main reason why I wanted to book you on. The content that you produced is truly mind blowing, and Saxon did a great job collaborating with yourself on that. It's come across so well and is handy for me as well, right? Because I'm not just posting stills, I'm posting the most amazing, epic video content. I almost feel like I'm Steven Spielberg behind the desk now, kind of throwing out these amazing videos on their socials. So big up to you for that, sir. Sean, I want to ask you now, if you don't mind, for just some kind of takeaway tips for our audience, businesses, brands, key people of influence that are listening. What are the things that you think they should be doing when it comes to video right now? What are your kind of main bullet points of this is what's working right now?
Yeah, so as always, like planning is completely key. I mean, if you're just going to rock up and just like say, okay, let's grab a camera and see what we can capture for the day, you're destined to fail. So like the three principles I would always say is like planning, and more planning. And it's also to not just follow trends. And that might sound a little bit bizarre for like the line of work that we do, but I strongly believe like having a strong narrative across a big campaign that is always in the background of what you do will help keep your content be cohesive together. That's one major thing that I would definitely say. And also look at the regions that you're targeting. So, for example, if we're using 𝗖𝗵𝗄𝗃, it's great for the UK market. But like if they were going to market in somewhere like Asia, then we might have to do a completely different campaign there. So just something that you've always got to consider, and always have your demographic at the forefront of everything that you do.
Yes. Again, my absolute bugbear. Businesses finally make that commitment to investing in some amazing video through you guys, Divine.Media, etc. And yet they're just not thinking about where they're pushing it to, where they're sending it to, the regions, the locations. And often I find people go for quite a niche video, like they've got like this really, really specific thing they want to do something about. But I would just say, and feel free to disagree with me, Sean, I think at the beginning it's so important that businesses just think about a video that is very broad and covers everything, and almost like phase it up. Of course, the optimal is you've got some really specific videos to cover loads of different areas of the business. But I think to begin with, I'm finding that the people are almost alienating their audience by doing a specific video that's for a specific geo location, etc. Am I talking rubbish, Sean?
I mean, yes and no.
Okay.
What I would say is if you're looking at a particular region, then yes, there's ways that you can cast the net quite wide with that. But like if you're looking at internationally, then that might be something you need to particularly consider. But the one thing that I find sometimes is that some customers just want to cast the net far too wide, and I think you need to like really hone in on like who am I exactly trying to target, and always work backwards from that. So you have your ISP right there, ICP right there, and you know exactly who you want to be able to target there, and then you just feed everything back and like say, okay, so what is going to be triggering them? What's going to grab their attention? What are they interested in? And then just like find ways that you can actually string together a narrative and do it that way. I mean, that's what we did with Saxon Air. They have lots of different areas of their business and lots of things that they wanted to showcase. But it's just like, okay, so what's one thing that we can actually take a couple of characters on a journey and like show off different areas of the business and do it that way. And that's what we managed to achieve with them.
Sean, you speak so much sense, my friend. How can people do business with you? Where can they learn more? How can they get in touch with you? Plug away.
Sure. So either reach out to me on our website, which is Divine.Media, or www.divine.media, or reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram is the best one as well.
And if people haven't seen, go over to the Saxon Air social media pages and check out the video content, because honestly, Divine.Media have done an incredible job of that. Sean, thanks so much for your time today. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thanks for having me.
And thank you so much to everyone that's watching live, watching back, listening back. Love having you as always as part of the growing community here on A Coffee with Chris. Thanks as always to our charity partners, our sponsors, and we'll see you this time next week for another episode of A Coffee with